Sejun confronted the ox, accusing it of stealing grass, and demanded payment of 100 tower coins instead of a mere apology. Theo observed that the ox had nothing, so Sejun instructed him to pay with his labor. Sejun offered the ox a job, promising 1 tower coin per day, and as much food as he desired. The ox agreed, and Sejun instructed him to return the next day. Theo recorded the method of paying with one's labor in his notepad, earning praise from Sejun, who extended his status as a salescat for a month. The following day, Sejun and the black rabbit hunted crayfish. The black rabbit's body began to glow, and his hammer changed shape, becoming pointed on one end. Sejun left the crayfish hunting to him. Hyung and his mother arrived at the cave, where Sejun noticed a beehive. He encountered the second-generation poisonous queen bee. The ox arrived for work as agreed, but tensions rose when a giant crimson bear appeared, ready to attack the ox. Sejun urged everyone to take shelter inside the cave for safety. Theo and the other rabbits emerged upon hearing the commotion. Sejun attempted to calm Hyung's mother, emphasizing that the Minotaur was there to work, not to fight. Hyung requested treats, while Theo wanted Sejun to reprimand him. Meanwhile, Aileen sought food. Sejun informed the tower manager of the situation, but she insisted he resolve it independently and provide food promptly. Sejun grew frustrated as everyone demanded action without results. Finally, his anger erupted, and he declared that if no one listened to him, he would withhold food from everyone, shocking even the tower manager. Sejun shouted and ordered everyone to settle down. Everybody listened to him, even the tower manager, who sat in her place. Sejun asked the ox and Hyung's mother that if they fight like this, not only the farm but everyone around will be harmed. He decided to have a meal to relieve the misunderstanding between the two. The black rabbit hunted the crayfish, and other rabbits prepared the crops and corns along with Sejun. The meal was ready, everybody sat down and started having the meal. Sejun offered food to Aileen as well. Sejun informed the two fighting amongst each other to listen up. He introduced each other and asked the ox's name. He said he is known as Ox 3. Sejun informed everyone that Ox 3 is going to help us with fieldwork, and if they fight here, he won't let anyone have food. They both shook hands together. Ox asked Sejun about what kind of work he is going to do. Sejun showed him the land and asked him to dig the ground like they did during the blue moon. He just had to turn over the soft soil inside the ground evenly before lunch. Ox was happy to know that Sejun was going to give him lunch as well. He started digging the ground. He decided to plant more spring onions. He also increased the yield of spring onions. It was not difficult to increase the yield of spring onions. All he had to do is harvest and cut off moderately grown spring onions, leaving only the roots. Over time, the roots of the spring onion will split and grow from the curd side. Then they just need to replant the split roots. Spring onion field plantation was completed. The spring onions grow really fast inside the tower. Esrija then noticed the problem of the water can. Suddenly, the rabbit's body started glowing up, and the color of the water can change to golden from silver. Now the water can hold twice the amount it was storing before. Meanwhile, the ox captain was thinking about why Ox 3 was not coming back. Today was the first day when the baby rabbits came out of the cave. He introduced them to Hyung, and they started playing with each other. Theo, being an uncle, called them for an adventure outside the cave. The baby rabbits were busy playing with Hyung. Theo was devastated to know that the baby rabbits forget about Theo. Sejun consoled him and gave him some churu. Sejun realized that it was almost time for Theo to leave and go down to the lower floors and trade. Theo informed him that he can't go down because a bunch of wolves were looking for the straw hat which Sejun was wearing. Sejun, who was confused as to why they want this straw hat because it is an unnecessary item unless you are a farmer, was confused if there are other farmers on the floor. Sejun had an idea. Theo informed Sejun that he couldn't go down because the wolves were searching for him and the straw hat. Sejun proposed a solution. He suggested hiring Ox 3 as a free mercenary since Theo could enlist free mercenaries. Theo realized it was a good idea. Being a free mercenary is a job exclusive to those born in the tower, like wandering merchants. Through an agreement between the Free Mercenary Association and the Wandering Merchant Association, free mercenaries can use the merchant passageway at any time by paying a toll. Additionally, based on the appeal of wandering merchants, non-mercenaries can be hired temporarily as free mercenaries and given the right to use the passageway. Sejun also desired to go down as a free mercenary, but like wandering merchants, only those born inside the tower can take up free mercenary jobs. Sejun planned to offer Ox 3 tower coins, which is 3 times his current daily wage, to protect them as a free mercenary. Theo praised Sejun's strategic thinking. When Ox 3 sneaked out to work for Sejun, Ox 4 caught him and informed him that she had been looking for him for the past 3 days. Ox 3 started giving excuses, but Ox 4 noticed his polished face, as if he had been secretly eating somewhere. She demanded to go with him, threatening to report him to the captain otherwise. Ox 3 reluctantly agreed. Ox 3 brought Ox 4 to the cave, shocking Sejun and Theo. Ox 3 requested if his friend could also work here in exchange for food. Sejun initially thought there wasn't much work left for the farm, but then realized they could protect Theo by becoming free mercenaries. He offered them the job, paying 3 tower coins, but they preferred food. Sejun altered the deal to 3 meals, which both Ox 3 and Ox 4 agreed to. Sejun packed some food for them, and Theo placed it in his bundle, informing Sejun that he upgraded the bundle, now being a mid-sized wandering merchant sales cat, which increased its size. Sejun also asked Theo to send presents to his family. Theo and the oxen left, leaving Sejun worried about the oxen eating Theo. In the passageway, the wolves eagerly awaited Theo, angry that failure to complete the mission would result in not receiving their ration, endangering their tribe. Suddenly, one of them spotted Theo. The other beings in the passageway were stunned to see the black minotaurs, as it was their first time encountering them. They wondered how great the wandering merchant would be to hire black minotaurs as free mercenaries. Theo interrupted them and informed them that he was that great merchant they were talking about, but they didn't believe him. Theo wanted to prove himself, so he called for both the oxen, but he noticed they were not there. Ox 3 and 4 were wandering around the passageway, looking at the things other beings were selling. Theo found them and scolded them for being absent and not paying attention to their work. They apologized, explaining that it was their first time in the passageway and they were distracted by the items for sale. Ox 3 was confused about why it was called the Merchant Passage and why everyone born in the tower couldn't use the tower's passage. Theo stood up on a box and started explaining that a long time ago, all the passages of the tower stretched out arbitrarily from the first up to the 99th floor. However, due to the numerous passages, none of them were safe and no one knew which ones were dangerous. So the first great wandering merchant created the Wandering Merchant Association, organizing those passages by pruning away the dangerous paths and choosing the safe ones. The Free Mercenary Association, which later became the main force of the tower, joined along with the Magic Tower. They made an agreement with each other, providing the resources and manpower necessary for passage management. However, as the passage is still managed under the Wandering Merchants Association, it is called the Merchant Passageway. The oxen were amazed by Theo's knowledge. Theo informed them that if they went through a regular passage, it would take much longer. He explained the directions and how they would reach the 38th floor. Theo decided to eat first and took them to his favorite restaurant. While he was talking with the oxen, a wolf attacked Theo. As the wolf started questioning Theo, the oxen landed a strong punch, but the wolf saved himself. Theo informed them that this was the wolf who was threatening him, and another wolf came to rescue their captain. But Ox 4 also intervened. Ox 3 punched both wolves and went for the captain. Theo was worried for her, but Ox 3 informed him that they were monsters from the 99th floor, and these kinds of dogs were no match for them. The wolves didn't want to lose this chance and stood there to fight the oxen. They were ready to attack at once. Meanwhile, in the cave, Sejun was spending time with the rabbits. Sejun was getting a haircut from the sickle rabbit, but she ended up cutting it in a weird way from behind, shocking the baby bear and rabbits. The wolves were in no mood to back down. They decided to attack at once. They jumped on Ox 4 and tried biting her, but soon they realized that her skin was so strong that even with their teeth, they couldn't pierce it. She held everyone and threw them away with her kicks and by grabbing their necks. As Ox 4 was landing her final punch on the Captain Wolf, the captain remembered the time when his grandfather informed him that they were pure-blooded, Silver Wolves tribe. When they die and become spirits, they become one of the guardian spirits that protect their tribe. They are much stronger than any other tribe, and they are able to raise their ability to track and hunt prey by inheriting the protection and the will of their ancestor. Their honor is also their ancestors as well. His grandfather informed him to behave properly and live proudly and not to ruin the honor of their ancestor who guided them, and they will receive an answer one day. Soon their situation went bad because of the long-lasting Great Famine. There was nothing to eat anymore. The western tribes were pillaging and slaughtering one another. The situation became so bad that their chief had to go and work undergrid, which was shameful for them. Their chief stopped them and reminded them about the situation of their children who didn't have anything to eat. It was their last opportunity to take care of their children. The wolf who had fallen down also had to take this step in order to protect its tribe. The path this wolf was following was just because he wanted to take care of his tribe. The ox didn't kill him. Theo checked that he just passed out. The ox asked Theo if she should just break his legs so that he won't follow them again. Theo denied. Theo said to take them to Sejun, and he'll decide what to do with them. Meanwhile, in the cave, Sejun noticed that he had a bald spot behind his head. The sickle rabbit apologized, but Sejun said it was fine as no one's gonna see him in this cave, and he wore the hat which will make the bald spot hidden. But the rabbit and baby bear knew that Sejun was feeling sad about his hair. However, the rabbits called Sejun again, and this time they had a scissor. The tower manager was enjoying reading the books. She noticed that her snacks were over now. She wanted to ask for more, but she remembered that Sejun will think of her as a pig. However, she was hungry, so she called Sejun. When she saw the crystal ball, she noticed that Sejun's appearance had changed. He had small hair now. Aileen, the tower manager, was shocked to see Sejun's new look. She didn't respond for a while, and Sejun kept asking about what happened. As Sejun came close to the screen, the tower manager's cheeks were red as she was feeling shy. She ordered him not to come closer and give her the crayfish. Sejun informed her that she needs to wait more as the crayfish population was decreasing. As of now, only 1 to 3 of them were coming out, and also because of them, no piranhas were coming out as well. Sejun was also eating vegetables these days. In return, he gave the tower manager a few corns and cherry tomatoes. The tower manager praised his new hairstyle. Sejun found it confusing as it was new for him to receive compliments from the tower manager. On the other hand, the tower manager was feeling shy, and her heart was beating like crazy. She was surprised by Sejun's changed appearance. She removed a book from the shelf and decided to do something for him. Theo reached the 38th floor and started with his auctions. He started the auction in batches of 400 each with a total of 36,000. People started bidding for the cherry tomatoes. He completed several deals, and 2,000 were remaining. A guy came and asked to buy the remaining cherry tomatoes with 16 tower coins. Theo sold everything. People were discussing how these big companies were monopolizing the cherry tomatoes. The team leader was happy as he was acquainted with Theo and could make a deal with him for the cherry tomatoes. Soon the people there noticed the name of the cultivator. The tower manager took one of the cherry tomatoes and read the name on it. It was Park Sejun. The man who purchased the remaining tomatoes asked his people to return to the guild's camp on the first floor and find out who Park Sejun is. They wanted to bring Sejun to their side. The team leader had a thought that Sejun's family must be in danger now. As for the rich people outside the tower, cherry tomatoes are an item more valuable than jewels. If the cultivator is inside the tower, there is a high possibility of them blackmailing or kidnapping the family for monopoly. The team leader took Theo and ran away from the crowd. He asked Theo about the sudden revelation of the cultivator's name. Theo informed him about the wandering merchant thing. The team leader informed Theo that Sejun's family must be in danger now. Theo was worried as it was his fault, but the team leader, Dongshik, said he'll protect his family. Theo gave him the present which Sejun sent for his family. The team leader agreed for the deal again. As the ox and wolves were waiting in the passageway, Theo came suddenly and asked them that they have to quickly reach Sejun, and he'll inform the reason midway. He then stopped at a shop and asked for a discount. Team leader Dongshik took the details of Sejun to his master, Han Tae-jun, who was the former guild master of the Phoenix Guild and currently a member of the Korean Association. Team leader asked his master if his body was doing fine, which made the master very angry. The master's hair was throwing flames. He informed that he had to be locked up in the fridge and only suck his finger. The master angrily asked the team leader if he was hiding something from him. Team leader denied, and the master calmed down now. The team leader noticed the curse marks were increasing on the master's body rapidly. The master asked the team leader for the reason he was here. The team leader requested support from the Awakened Association to protect Park Sejun's family. As the producer of the cherry tomatoes has been revealed to be Korean, there will be a lot of pressure from all around the world. The master informed that he has already formed a security unit once he received the call. The master then asked the team leader to take the charge since he knows them personally. It will be convenient. The master also informed that there have already been attempts to reach out from several countries. The team leader then gave a ball of cherry tomatoes to the master, and when he ate it, he found it very delicious. The team leader then reached out to Sejun's family and gave them the present which Sejun gave him. The team leader informed about the situation to his family that there are many people targeting Sejun, and also all of them were not safe here. But the Korean Awakened Association is protecting them, and they should be prepared to move. They also prepared a house for them. Sedal asked if they were moving to a neighborhood where famous people live, but the team leader informed that his family and he lives there. The team leader then asked Sedal if he likes the girl groups and if he knows LJSN. Sedol agreed and said every citizen of South Korea knows the girl group. The team leader then showed a picture of his daughter Sira, who was a member of LJSN. Sedol was amazed to see this and started asking him to take him to his house and make him meet his daughter as he was a big fan. The tower manager, Aileen, was preparing a dish for Sejun. She added some seasoning to the dish and it was prepared at last. Green onions grown from the flower seeds were growing well. Sejun planted it outside the cave in hopes of getting an item. He removed one, but there was no window status, so he removed it from the roots and noticed that he has harvested a detoxifying green onion. His job experience increased greatly. He ate it and found the taste normal, but it was great for health and it would be of great help to those who drink alcohol. Sejun noticed that still there were no fish in the pond. Meanwhile, Aileen sent him a gift to commemorate 200 days of his arrival in the tower. She gave him the present in the pot. There were dead animals, fingers, eyes, and it looked disgusting. It was a health soup prepared by Aileen. Aileen decided to take rest as she was tired of making this. She said she wants Sejun to finish it up, otherwise, she'll kill him. Sejun wanted the rabbits to help him finish this, but they ran away. Sejun felt disgusted by the look of the dish made by Aileen. However, the status window said that it increases all stats by 3 upon consumption. Sejun knew that it was a really good item, but a grade C paralyzing poison and acidic poison were too risky. The black rabbit then reminded Sejun of the grade C detoxifying green onions. He ate the detoxifying green onion, and he was detoxified from grade C plus or lower poisons for 1 hour. He was ready to eat the meal. He took 1 spoon of it and tasted it. However, he threw up everything as it tasted like hell. They say that the worse the medicine tastes, the better they are. But this was the worst of them all. He decided to eat it all at once. As he was about to finish it, he saw a weird animal inside the pot, and in reaction, he threw the pot in the pond. He consumed all of Aileen's soup, and all stats increased by 3. He also received several messages that he killed a piranha and a crayfish as well. Also, he received a message which said that he killed a giant electric eel. The pond was poisoned. He apologized to the rabbits as he was flustered and couldn't help it. He noticed that there is a larger ecosystem inside the hole. The black rabbit then asked Sejun if he can try swimming through the hole. But Sejun denied it and said that the black rabbit was precious to him and he cannot send him to such a dangerous place. Meanwhile, in the Minotaur King's base, the king asked Ox 1 about Ox 4 who went to look for Ox 3. They started thinking if they both are in some kind of problem. However, they were confident in Ox 4's ability. It was concerning for the king, so he ordered Ox 1 to gather all the ox until 100 under his wing at the waypoint. The king decided to step in and find these 2 himself. Sejun grew a lot of grass capable of fulfilling 100 Minotaur's stomach. Harvest rate also increased by 50% for the next week. His stats increased a lot due to Aileen's soup. The tower manager then asked Sejun if he liked the soup. Sejun praised the soup, and the tower manager also asked about the taste of the soup. Sejun was confused about what to answer as his answer could hurt the tower manager. She decided to make another one as if he liked the taste so much. Sejun stopped her by giving her an excuse that he didn't want her to take so much effort for him. The tower manager was blushing, thinking about how much Sejun takes care of her. Suddenly, there was a disturbance in the atmosphere. It was the King Minotaur. Sejun and the others were shocked to see another Minotaur, but soon Sejun realized that he was not any random Minotaur but their king. The tower manager informed them that he is the Minotaur King, the 99th floor's boss, the one who protects the wave point. However, he was not allowed to leave the area where the wave point is located. Since he protects the wave point, he can only permit Sejun to leave the tower. Sejun was confused about the reason why the King Minotaur came here. The tower manager then said that she would have a word with him, as it is a rule that the 99th floor's boss cannot leave the wave point territory. She was sure that it was written in the tower guidebook that her grandfather gave her. She tried to use the tower manager's right to summon the 99th floor's boss, but the status window did not respond to her actions. She informed Sejun that she was unable to help them at this moment. Sejun knew that Kyung's mom was not at the level to fight the King Minotaur. The King Minotaur then jumped high into the sky. Everybody thought they were done for, but he jumped behind them and started eating the grass. He ate a lot of it and picked up the remainder before running away. Sejun and the others breathed a sigh of relief. He thanked Kyung's mom for trying to protect them, even though their field was destroyed. Sejun thought that he should have gone to visit the 99th floor's boss, the Minotaur King, sooner. He knew that the Black Minotaur tribe places importance on the honor of a warrior, especially if it's the Minotaur King. Sejun thought of making him pay for damaging his field and eating all the grass. He prepared the food and decided to reorganize the field that the Minotaur King had ruined the day before. The baby rabbits were crying for the meat, so Sejun asked them to eat whatever they were given, just as Kyung was quietly eating whatever he received. Sejun noticed that Kyung's height was not increasing as rapidly as before. While he was doing this, Theo came back with the ox. He saw that they brought the wolves with them. Theo informed them that these were the wolves who were trying to threaten him, so he didn't know what to do with them and brought them here. Also, when Theo asked about what happened to the field, Sejun informed him that the Minotaur King came here. Both the oxen were terrified upon hearing this. Sejun asked them to eat first, and then they would decide what to do next. As both oxen went ahead to eat, the wolves woke up and tried to attack Sejun, but he was saved by Kyung. Additionally, Sejun's straw hat was gone. The wolves took it when they attacked him. The wolves took Sejun's straw hat. It seemed like they pretended to pass out, waiting for the right moment to snatch the straw hat. As they tried to run away, Kyung's mom stood behind them. They were no match for Kyung's mom, so they surrendered and gave the hat back to Sejun. Kyung suggested eating the wolves, but Sejun calmed him down, gave him some honey, and asked the second-generation queen bee to handle him. They all settled down on Sejun's order, and the wolves started to wonder why these Minotaur and Kyung's mother were obediently listening to such a weak-looking man. Another wolf mentioned hearing the wandering cat calling him chairman earlier. The other wolf claimed he was the black dragon and closed his eyes. He explained that the monsters of the 99th floor listened to him because he was the black dragon, the great ruler of the 99th floor. Sejun asked them why they were after Theo and the straw hat. The wolves then bowed down in front of Sejun and apologized, addressing him as the Great Black Dragon. Aileen, the tower manager, laughed and gave Sejun a quest to pretend to be the Great Black Dragon. She also informed him that this would help him. This was when Sejun learned that the tower manager was a black dragon, not a winged pig. Sejun got into character, gave a weird look, and threatened the wolves. Theo and the tower manager found it creepy. The wolf captain, Elka, apologized and was ready to give up his life. Sejun gave them an option to pay for their sin by asking them to pay 10,000 tower coins. When they said they didn't have that much, Theo suggested they pay with their bodies. But another wolf reminded the captain of their deal with Grid. Elka bowed down and denied Sejun's request. The tower manager was angry because they refused the black dragon's offer. Sejun asked for the reason for their denial. Elka explained that on the 85th floor, where their tribe was located, they were experiencing a food shortage due to a long-term drought. So, strong wolves like them had become free mercenaries and were hired by the great landowner Grid to barely provide food to the 85th floor. They were about to receive a commission for getting the straw hat, but now that they found out it was in the possession of the Great Black Dragon, they failed their mission and lost their commission. Moreover, if they worked under the Black Dragon, the young wolves of their tribe would starve to death. Sejun asked Elka to look around the place where he was standing. The total state was a farm. Sejun added a condition to the contract, for their entire tribe to pay the 10,000 tower coins. He would provide food for their entire tribe during the period they worked there. They were all happy and accepted the offer, as now they didn't have to listen to Grid. They signed the contract and were given the position of sales cats under Theo's leadership. They were also informed that Ox 3 and 4 were their seniors, so they should be respectful towards them as well. Sejun knew that in the future, this Grid person could cause trouble for Theo, so in that case, the wolves could protect him. Theo asked for fish to eat and started crying when he found out there were none. Sejun and the black rabbit were ready to check the pond. The black rabbit was ready to go inside the pond. He broke the hole to a bigger size. The black rabbit then tried to enter the hole, but due to the darkness, he couldn't see anything. Sejun then asked Theo if he had an item that could be used in the dark or something similar. Theo had no particular idea about such an item, but still, he checked his bundle. He found a pouch full of 2 coins and bought an item, which was a necklace with a scratched jewel. Sejun then asked the tower manager to appraise this item, just as she did with the straw hat. Sejun gave her a bowl of tomatoes, and reluctantly, she appraised the item. The item had completely changed now. It was a necklace of the night that brightened the surroundings when the skill was used. The higher the level of the user, the stronger the light shines. Theo asked if the item was useful, could he get more time as a sales cat? Sejun was so happy that he ordered from now onwards, Theo would be a sales cat forever. Theo couldn't believe this, but Sejun informed him again and also praised his hard work. As a commemoration for his promotion, Sejun also let him become President Theo for today. Sejun and the black rabbit were ready for the pond. When Sejun wore the necklace, it shone softly, but when he gave the necklace to the black rabbit, and when he wore it, it shone very brightly, because Sejun's mana was lower than the black rabbit's. Sejun gave him some detoxification green onion and tied a rope around him. He informed him that if he faced difficulty in breathing or encountered any kind of danger, he should pull the rope twice, and Sejun would pull him out quickly. He also gave him a dagger and a pouch since using the hammer underwater would be difficult. The black rabbit went inside the hole. There was an exit which was shining inside the hole, and when the black rabbit reached there, it was amazing to see that there was a different ecosystem below. There were big sharks, dolphins, and all kinds of other fish roaming around. The black rabbit then tried to cut an eel and got the inside of the electric eel. He was happy that Sejun would praise him, but suddenly a shark attacked him from behind. The black rabbit tied a rope to the eel, but the shark took half part of the eel, injuring the black rabbit in the process. Luckily, he was able to pull the rope twice. Sejun received the signal, and everybody pulled the rope quickly. When the black rabbit came out of the pond, he was unconscious. Sejun tried to wake him up, but there was no response. They pulled the black rabbit out of the pond, but he was unconscious. Sejun gave his hat to the bee to hold for a while. He was about to give mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to the black rabbit, but he woke up by himself and spat the water that had entered his mouth on Sejun's face. The black rabbit started complaining. The tower manager then informed them that the black rabbit was in the Sea of Dimensions. The Sea of Dimensions is something that exists between the floors of the tower, as there are many dangerous and scary underwater monsters. One can only rely on the passageways to safely move through to another floor, but sometimes there are water holes that lead to the dimensional sea, like the hole in this pond. Sejun asked the black rabbit if there were any edible fish inside. The black rabbit then removed the inside of the giant electric eel from his pouch. Upon checking the status window, the inside of an electric eel was described as having lived for 1,000 years, shining with the power of electricity. Also, one who consumes it will be able to learn the skill of rain and thunder. The black rabbit then pulled the half body of the eel, which he had tied with the rope, out of the pond. Along with the head of the eel, a lot of piranhas and crayfish came along. Sejun was happy to see this and picked up the black rabbit, praising him a lot. While they were preparing the meal, Sejun got news from Theo that his family was in danger and Kim Dongshik would be protecting them. Sejun was worried about his family and ordered Theo to bring information about how he is protecting his family and more details about it. Sejun thought of giving the team leader a gift or something. Theo informed that the team leader likes cherry tomatoes, so Sejun thought he would be gifting him other crops too. While Sejun was removing the chiru for Theo, the inside of the eel fell from his pocket. Sejun informed Theo about the whole thing that happened when he was sleeping. Sejun informed that it must be an electric skill. Theo hated it because his farm would get stuff and would be ruined because of this. Sejun was enjoying all of this as of now because after coming into the tower, he only learned farming skills, but now he was able to learn other skills too. Theo asked to eat it quickly, but Sejun couldn't eat it because his mana was too low for the capability. Theo started laughing at Sejun's mana. Sejun quickly put the necklace on Theo and found out that even his mana was more than Sejun's. Sejun asked everyone if they were enjoying the food. However, Elka was worried about his tribe. Sejun told him not to worry as he would be providing food for his tribe too. Sejun informed the ox to get ready as they had to show Sejun the whereabouts of the King Minotaur. Meanwhile, the King Minotaur was thinking about what happened last time, and all the other ox were eating the grass the king stole from Sejun's place. He wanted to go back and pay the price for the grass he stole, but he didn't have anything to pay with. He was left with this question in his head about paying back to Sejun while the rest of the Minotaur were enjoying the grass. The rabbits were working on the farm, some cutting the grass and others watering the plants. Since the blue moon was near, Sejun decided to harvest as many crops as he could. It was hot today, so he gave his hat to the second-generation queen bee to hold. His job experience was full. Sejun's tower farming grade increased from D to C. He was so busy working that he didn't even notice his job grade was close to leveling up. Sejun's job characteristics were also enhanced. He became closer to nature, and his hidden talents were awakened. Due to this talent, he would be able to communicate with animals and plants that do not speak the same language. He wasn't sure about it, so he called the rabbit Dad, and the rabbit replied to him. Sejun was shocked to hear this. He asked him to respond once again. All the other rabbits also gathered there, and they started speaking to him. Sejun was really happy to see this. It was a relief for him that now he could talk to all the rabbits as well as the honeybees over there. The black rabbit then jumped over to Sejun in joy, excited to talk to him about many things. He also confirmed with the second-generation queen bee that he was able to properly hear them as well. On the social window, it was confirmed that the relic straw hat of St. Patrick of Earth increases the job advancement of the wearer. The stats of the straw hat were also increased just by going up one level, and a new skill, Growth Promoter, was opened for him. It gave him the ability to accelerate the growth of 10 crops for a week without any side effects. Sejun got an idea and planted sweet potatoes and sun pumpkins using his growth promoter skill. The sweet potato shoots were growing faster with the growth promoter boost. Also, the energy of wishing for a good harvest of the green onion field seeped into the sweet potato sun pumpkin. Until the effects of good harvest of the green onion were over, the yield of sweet potato sun pumpkin increased by 50%. The baby bear, Kyung, jumped upon Sejun, calling him dad, as he heard the news from the black rabbit that now he could hear them speaking. Sejun was shocked to hear Kyung calling him dad. Kyung's mom said it was fine if he called him dad, and she also thanked Sejun for giving food and shelter to Kyung and his mother. Kyung asked for honey, green onion, sweet potatoes, and fish. As Sejun was happy with this skill, he decided to eat something special today. He happened to have harvested strength potatoes, so he cooked them well. In his diary of getting lost in the tower, he wrote that he felt like only better things will happen from now onwards. As Sejun and the ox were leaving to meet the Minotaur King, Kyung was crying as he wanted to stay with his dad. Sejun asked Theo if he packed the food with him in his bundle. Sejun then shouted at Kyung as a dad shouts at his son. He gave him the task of protecting his queen bee sisters. Kyung asked him to return quickly. Elka then escorted Sejun to the waypoint. As the wolves were fast, Sejun and others reached there in a flash. In front of them was a forest, but it felt dark. The ox informed them that there were several territories on the 99th floor. The territory they were heading to was the Minotaur territory, and the place Sejun was staying was Red Fur's territory. The other territory belonged to the corrupt beings of the West. Ox 4 informed Sejun not to go anywhere close to that place as it was dangerous. While Sejun was thinking about what kind of corrupt things they do, a splash of mud came straight to his face, and he fell down from the wolf's back. When the dust cleared in front of him, the oxen were eating the mud as there was nothing else to eat. Sejun realized the reason they get excited when they see grass. Ox 4 asked who threw the mud. Then an ox came in front asking what kind of toys Ox 3 and 4 brought with them. Ox 4 knocked him down for his arrogant behavior. Another ox then informed the king about Ox 4 and 3's return. It was perfect for the king as Sejun and others came to him so that he didn't have to leave the place. Sejun stood in front of King Minotaur. The king asked Sejun who he was. Sejun introduced himself as the tower farmer. The king Minotaur thought that he was here asking for protection from Red Fur, and misjudged him as a weakling of Red Fur. Sejun informed him that Red Fur protects him and he was here to get compensation for the stolen grass. Sejun indirectly called him a thief. The king Minotaur was angry by this and stood up aggressively. A heated argument started between both of them. Sejun didn't fear him and kept his words clear that what he did the day before was stealing. The other oxen started questioning about their king among themselves, which made him nervous. He politely mentioned that Sejun must be having some misunderstanding and he was about to pay for the grass. Sejun asked the king to let him use the waypoint. The king Minotaur agreed to it and asked Sejun to come forward. Sejun was happy that finally he would be going home. But when Sejun touched the blue crystal at the waypoint, it gave an error message that as he didn't have other waypoints saved he could not move to any other floor. The king Minotaur mentioned that the external entities must register the waypoints on each floor starting from the waypoint on the first floor to be eligible to move to other floors. Sejun was not eligible to move to other floors. He sat on his knee, disappointed by this. He also lost hope of going back home. Theo tried to console Sejun as he didn't get what he wished for. Sejun knew that he wouldn't be able to get out of this place ever since he found out that he was on the 99th floor. Seems like he just wanted to confirm this. The king Minotaur felt sorry about the situation, but he allowed Sejun to use the waypoint, and he accepted it, so as of now, there is no more debt for him to repay. Sejun agreed that he is no longer indebted to Sejun. As he was leaving, Sejun tried to make an offer to the king Minotaur. He asked Theo to open the bundle and remove the grass they brought with them. All the oxen and the king were shocked to see the large amount of grass. Definitely, it would be an amazing thing to see when all they were getting to eat was mud for a while. The king Minotaur asked about the grass. Sejun confirmed that it was a gift with the intention of getting along well with them as good neighbors. Sejun also informed that as they were currently expanding their fields, they needed a lot of manpower. He offered them that if they expanded the field, all of them could eat this kind of green onion crops 3 times a day. Kyung was waiting for Sejun. Soon he saw that Sejun was back with the other members. Kyung hugged him with joy. He brought along a couple more Minotaur who would be helping them with the fieldwork. Sejun made a deal with the Minotaur king that they could do as they pleased with all the land in the wasteland. Soon, they were bonding well with Kyung and started working. Sejun decided to prepare food for the Minotaur. Minotaur and the waypoint were playing rock, paper, scissors to figure out who would go to work tomorrow. They were happy when they were selected for the work as they would get to eat more. The honeybee gathered bottles full of honey. He gave a bottle to Quing. Quing's mom was going into the forest as tomorrow was the blue moon. Sejun decided to pack a lot of things for Quing and more bottles of honey. The wolves asked Sejun if they could also go down for the blue moon. Sejun showed them the ration he prepared for them. The wolves thanked the black rabbit as well for hunting the crayfish for them. They took out their bundle and stored the food in that. Everybody left for the blue moon, and Sejun decided he should also leave for the preparation of the blue moon. The tower manager then asked Sejun if he was worried about the field. Sejun replied that he was worried a little as the blue moon was near. The tower manager then asked him to relax and just believe in her. Sejun remembered the last time when the blue moon appeared. Everybody tried to minimize damage by hiding from the blue moon or staying away from the field because when the blue moon appears, the monsters become violent. However, the fields on the ground remained defenseless, and Sejun shared those concerns with the tower manager, and she promised to protect the field. Sejun realized that it was the tower manager who protected the field, and he was relaxed now and kept his belief in the tower manager Aileen. The tower manager then decided that she should prepare for the blue moon too. She went upstairs, and in front of her, there was a widespread nature with a pond in front of her. She kept her hand on the screen and said it was her time to step in. She was on her way to somewhere. Sejun also started preparing for the blue moon. Theo, being an uncle, was saying goodbye to the baby rabbits, and he asked Sejun to call him if there was any trouble. Sejun again gave him the cocoon of the queen bee and asked Theo to keep it safe with him. Theo kept it in his fur. The blue moon appeared. The rabbits started going violent and aggressive again. Their eyes turned red, and Sejun was watching them from a corner. As it was not new for Sejun, but he was not used to seeing this. He heard loud noise of the monsters from outside the cave. Also, the rabbits didn't turn to normal as last time, and they were being more and more aggressive. The rabbits were running wild. But in a moment, the black dragon was flying above the cave. Sejun was happy to see the tower manager Aileen. On the 99th floor, the branch ant monster was running wild, but when he saw Aileen over him, he was afraid and quietly ran away from the cave. It seems like Aileen was using some kind of technology through which she made a replica of her adult self and was controlling it from her place. So the dragon flying over the cave was not actually Aileen. It was a robot which was controlled by Aileen. This tool was made up by her grandfather. Because of Aileen, the monsters were quiet now, and the rabbits were back to their original form. Sejun was really happy to see them back. Sejun hugged them and decided to harvest the blue moon crops. Sweet sun, pumpkin potato containing the energy of the blue moon, and strength potato containing the energy of the blue moon. Also magic, cherry tomatoes containing the energy of the blue moon. In total they harvested 13 cherry tomatoes, 3 potatoes, and 7 sweet potatoes this time. He praised Aileen's work. The tower manager asked him to leave the blue moon to her in the future as well. Aileen was tired, and she decided to eat the sweet potato with blue moon's energy. By eating this, her heart started beating. Unlike last time, she could feel a stable flow of mana. She also noticed that Sejun was putting honey on sweet potato containing the power of the blue moon. She also decided to give a reward to Sejun. As Sejun was about to share the food with the rabbits, one of them informed that their dad asked them to let Sejun eat the food with blue moon's energy as his mana is low. The tower manager then asked for a sweet post with honey, and in return, she was giving him a job skill. The job skill given to him was cooking. Due to this skill, he was able to gather recipes. In his diary of getting lost, he wrote that the 8th blue moon passed by very peacefully. What secrets lie behind Aileen's abilities to control the monsters and protect the fields? Will Sejun's newfound job skill and the tower manager's reward help him overcome future challenges, or will new obstacles arise as he continues his solo farming adventure? What awaits Sejun in the upcoming chapters as he faces the uncertainties of the tower